Welcome to TradFi to DeFi, a community-driven podcast about crypto and decentralized finance. This is Tyler Sherwin, and I'm joined by John Tejan. Together, our goal is to teach, encourage, and inspire you to seize opportunities in this emerging world of DeFi. Let's get started. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TradFi to DeFi podcast. This is episode 0, so our very first podcast. My name is Tyler, and I am joined by my co-founder and co-host of TradFi to DeFi, John. How's it going today, John?
It's doing well. I'm glad we're able to put this down and get it recorded and start introducing ourselves to everyone.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a little while, and I know it's always been big on my to-do list, something I've been very excited about. And this is a fun, exciting area that you and I have kind of carved out, a little niche that has turned into quite the big industry lately. This stuff called DeFi, turns out it's quite the big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly got everybody's attention, and it's certainly on my radar and has been probably for the past year.
Yeah, so what is TradFi to DeFi? Like, what is it that we're doing here when it comes to TradFi to DeFi?
Well, the way I look at it, I come from a traditional finance background, and I'm a boomer. I'm 61 years old, I think, and I've seen what traditional finance has been good to me, but I also see its downfalls and its limitations, especially for the younger generations coming behind me. And so for TradFi to DeFi, what we're trying to do is link that traditional finance world to the new DeFi space with cryptocurrency and those opportunities. So not only is it, and it's on two levels. It's on an individual level of actually getting people jobs in the space as they transition, and also from a philosophical and high level of where are things going, how are they changing, and opportunities to look for.
Yeah, I love that answer because I feel as if I'm almost the poster child for TradFi to DeFi because, like you said, it's helping people get into this industry. And when we founded TradFi to DeFi, I was actually working as a traditional finance, like a financial advisor. That was my role. And I remember I was not allowed to talk about crypto. It was literally in the policy at my broker dealer. And so if somebody were to come to me and ask me about crypto, I'd have to say, all right, well, I'm taking off my financial advisor hat now and then telling you about the world's greatest generational wealth transfer event. And so it just didn't quite make sense. And so I kind of described my journey as TradFi to DeFi because as a result of the work that we've done in TradFi to DeFi, I've actually been able to network and actually get a job, a full-time job in the space. I work in crypto full-time now, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's a great space to be in, and it is a market change from the industry that I spent most of my career in. And it's funny, you kind of had to take your official hat off and talk as a civilian about DeFi, but I think those things are changing. They're going to continue to change. We want to keep track of that stuff because more and more people are looking for that as a career path and a way to manage their investments too. But certainly it's something that's happening and evolving and changing, and we both see the value in it, and we want to share that with people as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's what it brings such a unique perspective is that you and I coming from different backgrounds and generations. I am in the millennial class, and I find that among my peers, there's so much disenfranchisement. There's just bitterness and resentment. And I think that can be harnessed and turned into a more productive use of time and energy and resources. And so I in many ways, want to sort of harness some of that bitterness and feeling as if maybe our generation has been left behind by, skyrocketing asset prices across virtually every asset class, but stagnant wages and rampant inflation. And you look at some of these economic trends and the way the world is today, and, many people my age or younger, they'll take a look at the existing financial system and say, well, I'm just going to opt out and maybe just play video games. But really, there's a better path. There's an alternative parallel financial system that's being built and increasingly becoming integrated into the existing financial system. And I call that transition between the two worlds, TradFi to DeFi. And so I thought maybe it might make sense is just to kind of read briefly just kind of the mission statement of what you and I had written out in terms of how we want to think about TradFi to DeFi and what we're doing. And so what I'll read here is essentially our mission. Like, what is it that John and Tyler here on TradFi to DeFi podcast, what are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to teach, encourage, and inspire you on your decentralized finance journey. We want to spark synergies, foster long-lasting connections, and expand your horizons. We are a hub of activity, opportunity, excitement, and possibility. And we'd love to invite you to join the DeFi revolution. And I remember I wrote that, what feels like almost a year ago now, but it wasn't. It was like maybe 8 or 9 months ago. And I feel like we've in many ways lived up to that up to this point. I also wrote a brief description of kind of where we want this to go. And so I also wrote this. I'll read this real quick here. Essentially, as the world transitions from the status quo of traditional finance, TradFi, to the emerging world of decentralized finance, there's a tremendous need for talent that can navigate this brave new world. So we structured this group to equip you with the skills needed to understand DeFi tools while also providing opportunities for learning, networking, and professional development. We are a networking hub, project incubator, talent connector, mentorship provider, and opportunity maximizer for the DeFi enthusiast, whether new or experienced. So, John, how well do you think we've lived up to that so far?
I think, having written that a while ago and tracking what we've done, as you were ticking those off, I'm going, we did that, we've done that, we've actually done that, we're doing that currently. I think we've done a really good job, and there's always room for improvement, and but it's exciting to see the things that we've done, the people we've helped, the projects we've been involved in. Being introduced to new products by people that have joined the group who are actually in the industry currently, some fairly high level folks that really encourage me as we go forward that, because what Tyler and I really want to do first and foremost is we want to provide value. You take time out of your week to listen to what we have to say or topics we talk about. We want it to be valuable. We don't want to waste anybody's time. And so we've done that consistently throughout the past 8 or 9 months. And so I think we, unbiased opinion here, but I think we get an A for that.
Yeah, and I got to say, I've been really gotten to know a lot of the members of our community, and I'll mention this on this podcast. In our description, you can take a look at our links where we have our Telegram chat and Discord chat, as well as a few other resources. But essentially, we want this to be a conversation rather than just a content production sort of endeavor. And so we do write articles and we do release videos and things, and podcasts. But really, we are where the breathing life of this organization has often been on our Friday community calls, which we have at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we also try to do Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, Alpha Wednesdays, where we focus on the specific alpha and actionable opportunities. These are two areas in which you can kind of interact with us, but we're also involved in Discord and Telegram, and you can reach us there. Really, we want to create this community in which it's a safe space for newer entrance, but also a place for professional development if you're even further along in your career. Kind of thinking back to our objectives, I can name multiple of my friends who've gotten jobs and referrals through TradFi to DeFi. I know of friends who've signed multiple commercial deals from within TradFi to DeFi. We've even hosted a community airdrop for one of the leading exchanges on Avalanche. We've done a variety of events like this in which we share alpha early on. And what do we mean by alpha, John? I just realized maybe I should explain that term for some of our newer audience. What's alpha?
Well, what that is, all of this is a very, very new technology. It's evolving. It's fast paced. It's extremely fast paced. And and it is all done through networking. It's not through the traditional channels of traditional finance where, you know, only a select few amount of people get to know what's coming down the pipe and how to invest and what to invest and
Yes.
being first to invest. This is very much a man on the street thing where you can share things that you know about a specific protocol, project, chain, whatever it is, and say, hey, this is getting ready to take off because I know the developers who are developing this. They have a great reputation. They've always put out quality work. That's something that just doesn't exist in the traditional finance world. They have what they call alpha, but it's not really, because by the time it gets to you, the retail investor,
Yeah.
everybody else is already in the game and made money, and you're just there hoping to get a little bit of that.
Yeah, or it's locked behind accredited investor protections, and really that just means those that have the money can continue to make more of it. And so yeah, what we try to do is we try to, like you said, man on the street. We want to put this into the hands of our audience. And we there's a saying in this industry, we like to say DYOR, do your own research, and of course we do encourage that among our audience. And none of this is financial advice, NFA, another abbreviation that's really taken hold. But there needs to be a starting point, right, John? Like you can't just come to this space and be like, oh my gosh, where do I even begin? People ask me all the time for time to jump on a call with them and explain crypto. I don't have that time anymore. But what I do is I invite them to TradFi to DeFi, and I say, hey, just jump in here. There's a ton of people who can answer your questions. There's a lot of great resources. And so really what we want this podcast to be is kind of like a jumping off point for expanding our reach in terms of getting this message into the hands of audiences that we know would benefit. Anything else you want to add on that there, John?
No, I think that kind of covers it. We want to help folks, and you're right. There, you can start from zero and get to one fairly quickly, but it is a learning journey. It's a learning journey for me, being 61 years old and picking up technology that kids, a fifth of my age, are no better than I do. But it's a challenge, but it's worth it, and it's a worthy path to go down, because this is revolutionizing the financial world.
Yeah, and I want to kind of conclude on that. Like, if I were to ask you, like, what is it that makes you so passionate about this space that you're willing to devote so much of your free time towards it? I'll tell you. For me, it's this idea of generational wealth and this opportunity that can help the disenfranchised who perhaps feel that they've been left behind. I know the when I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, this disenfranchisement attitude, I find it to be so toxic and sad to see the despair of people who are just trying to get by, but also people who have been locked out of these opportunities by existing regulations or financial systems that are not, that don't provide opportunity. And so for me, that was always something interesting, because I grew up in finance and everything being, skeptical of rampant inflation and money printing, but also being open to ideas of creating true value. And so that's what kind of inspired me about Bitcoin and crypto early on, was that there could be an alternative way of doing this. And so for me, one of the big light bulb moments was when I was selling solar panels in Southern California, and I got to this guy's house, and he had a huge electric bill because he was actually mining crypto, and he was a hedge fund manager. And so I thought to myself at that time, and I knew a little bit about Bitcoin, and that's actually how I got the sale, was I knew enough about Bitcoin to kind of talk to him about it. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, if this smart guy is smart enough to try and start mining this stuff, and this is back in like 2017 and 18, not even that long ago, but feels like ages in crypto. That's kind of when I started down the rabbit hole, spending a lot more time in it. And then when coronavirus hit and everyone's spending a lot more time at home, and I remember I was spending so much more time involved in crypto at that point because I had all this more time being at home. That's when I really started to get, the light bulbs clicked even more for me. So what about you, John? Like, what was it that really got you into this space and then got you into wanting to devote time, building this TradFi to DeFi thing with some millennial who you met online, who, by the way, John, we've never met in person yet, right? So
No,
like what was
never.
and that's what's kind of cool about this. And so, like what was it for you? Like what was it that kind of got you started on this journey and then ending you up here?
Well, like I said, from a traditional finance background, everything was going well, and did. I decided to step back, and I bought a farm, and I'm trying to take it, like I said, take a step back before I retire. But what really changed it for me is I'm not a libertarian, but I have libertarian ideals. Um, and coming out of an extremely toxic political culture in our country, I needed someplace to go that was not who did you vote for, and what issues you do believe in. And I found the crypto community, it was like, no one cares. They just
Yeah.
want to know your passion for the industry and learning and moving forward and innovating and changing the world, not from a political standpoint, from a financial standpoint, which really that's all people really want. Politics is a symptom of a sick financial system. And so this is a worthy endeavor for me at the end of my career and going into retirement that, I have some knowledge about finance from the traditional world, and I want to help as much as I can. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air to come into crypto and just see, oh my goodness, everyone's just building, right? Like we don't have time for these petty squabbles. Like, you might have squabbles about which token is the best, right? Which chain is the most efficient or which one is the most decentralized. But, those are all arguments in favor of substance, right? And accomplishing something and building something. And so I completely agree. That's one of the things that gets me so excited about my day job in crypto, but also what I do in my free time, just spending time learning. And so, I hope that passion and excitement that John and I have, we can share with you, our audience. We're really excited that you are joining us on this journey. And in conclusion, I would just say, please consider joining TradFi to DeFi and take a look at what we're working on. Our goal here really is to help our audience, and we've learned a lot of really interesting things along our journey from TradFi to DeFi. And the thing is, the journey doesn't actually end. It's always happening, right? It's journey before destination. It's really that process of learning that is the excitement. There's really no end in sight, right? Because this innovation is going to continue, and we want to be there on that journey, and we hope that you'll join us. So, signing off here for the TradFi to DeFi podcast, this is Tyler and my co-host, John. We're so glad that you were here to join us, and we look forward to having you on the next one. Take care.